Anyway, our internet service is down tonight. And apparently my brother is paying his internet bill. So there's something going on. And it's been hotter than hell here in southern Oregon. It was supposed to get to 111 today. And even hotter than that tomorrow. And right now it's hotter than hell. But I figure I'll just do this since I don't have any articles to refer to tonight. I'll just point to my new hibiscus plant. I'm putting everything under the carport so it doesn't get too damn hot tomorrow and the coming days. But anyway, I was just thinking about the goddamn media. You know, the Beltway Mob is what I call them, the Washington Press Corps. And and I gotta change hands here. But they just can't let it go. They just can't let it go about Biden. They're going to try to run him out. They're going to try to do everything they can. And they've been laying for him to stumble or do something ever since he refused to do an interview with, I think, the publisher or the head editor. I think he's the publisher, Rosenthal, I think he is. He was one of these nepotisms, because I think his father or his grandfather was also the publisher of the New York Times. And so back a few months ago, Biden said, no, I'm not going to do an interview with you. You know, I've got a job to do, I've got a campaign to do, and I don't have time for this bullshit. And that isn't the way he said it, of course. I'm just saying what my own conjecture of it. And so, oh my God, they just threw a fit about it. And now with this debate crap, and they can't let it go. The media can't let it go. And can it be more obvious that they're in the tank for Trump, who is mentally unstable, who is sociopathic, who has cognitive decline, which Biden does not. He's slower than he used to be, but he's not senile. And I think people who try to tell me he is don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Since I've followed Biden's career ever since he came to Washington back in 1973. All right. So anyway, Biden gave a speech today in Wisconsin. He did this interview with George Stephanopoulos tonight, and evidently, from what I've read, I haven't seen the video or watched it at all, but apparently Stephanopoulos was trying to play gotcha, and Biden really didn't bite at all. He did okay on it, so there was no big deal. But now you have people like Carville, who you really wonder about his cognitive level, and old Mark Warner, who's trying to play Brutus to Biden's Julius Caesar. They're ready to knife him in the back. They're trying to get him out, even though that means total loss for the Democrats in the fall. These assholes either need to stay in line or shut up. To shut the fuck up. Because let me tell you, Mark Warner could not get elected dog catcher. He was lucky he got re-elected last time. And this is reportedly, okay, let's give him the benefit of a doubt, because so much of the media have gone Rupert and literally make stuff up, like the UK media makes up stories about the royal family. And so it's entirely possible that these so-called reporters, these so-called journalists, are literally making shit up. But, you know, some of them, they think, oh, this is going to make me be the nominee. I'm going to be the... They can't get elected shit. And furthermore, the money's not theirs to get. all the money that's been raised, that Biden and Harris have raised. They're going to run on a shoestring. Ain't going to happen. So this is proof to me that they're in the take for Trump. Because remember, I think, if I remember right, old Trump's tax cuts for the rich, especially the rich, they're going to run out. And oh boy, you know how that is. And then old Trump was talking about, oh, I don't know anything about Project 2025. He was trying to deny that. And nobody was biting, because that's basically the Republican platform. And every damn person in the country should be scared and concerned about Project 2025. But getting back to the media, yeah, it's all about access with them. If you do not kiss the ass of the media, they will retaliate something fierce. And for people that say, well, how we have all this chorus of different publications from all over the country. No, these reporters are all in D.C. They're based in D.C. These political White House correspondents and stuff, they're all based in Washington, D.C. So they all know each other. They all go to the same cocktail parties. They all schmooze, or they try to schmooze with the politicians. Their kids all go to the same hoity-toity private schools and all that kind of shit. So they're all a clique or a clique. They're all that. And they all stick together. I mean, Gene Lyons talked about it, you know, when he was talking about the Clinton years and how the media were. And there have been other reporters. And this access thing is really important to understand, because it's been going on for decades. Kennedy was the quintessential president that had allowed reporters all kinds of access. You know, riding on Air Force One, being invited to parties, getting interviews, all kinds of ass-kissing shit. And every president, at least since then, has been demanded by the media to have access, and with varying degrees of success. Now, the Carters were outside the Beltway, so they were treated like crap. It was relentless, and of course that was to atone for Nixon, because Nixon was always lambasting the media for bias. The media were always out to get him. And so they decided they were going to be twice as hard, or not, I shouldn't say twice as hard, 100 times as hard on a Democrat as a Republican. So they went after the Carters. And then you had the Clintons. And with the Clintons, and I wish I had that article, or my excerpt that I reposted, part of an article by Salon, which the article is no longer available, at least at the link that I had. But there was an article about Sally Quinn, who was married to Ben Bradley. She, you know, I'm going to say it, she slept her way to the top. She was a failed journalist who just happened to have an in, you might say, with Ben Bradley, who she married. And so she went and did that, and then she became the society arbiter in Washington, D.C. I don't know if she's doing much of that anymore. She's like 83 or something now, so she might not be doing much of that anymore. But back in the day, she was the queen of the society. And Bill and Hillary Clinton first came to Washington. Quinn was trying to get Hillary to, you know, get into the social world of Washington, and Hillary just wasn't interested. And then there was another time, and I don't have it, and again, I don't have the anecdote right in front of me, but another time Hillary did something, and Sally Quinn felt snubbed. And so Hillary made sure that Sally Quinn was not, and Sally wrote a real nasty response in her paper, in the paper, and Hillary decided she was going to try to cut Sally Quinn out of any of the engagements of the White House, and at least a number of them, if not all of them. And so at that point, that's not only Quinn went against it, but all the White House mob did. And this is when, and even before the Clintons came to the White House, they started going after the Clintons, because the Clintons were outsiders, and especially Bill was from Arkansas, and you know, the bigotry they've got back there against people from the South. They're all just a bunch of hillbillies, a bunch of Jed Clampetts without the money. They're just a bunch of ignoramuses, and that was that. And he wasn't to be taken seriously. And so then they started publishing all these fake scandals and all this shit, and recycling them whenever the Republican talking points were. And the point of the Republicans was why they peddled all these fake scandals using billionaire money like Scaife, the late Richard Mellon Scaife, is because they were afraid of Clinton and Gore, their impact on the Southern strategy. And that, Gene Lyons came up with that in Fools for Scandal. And that was just a throwaway line. But that was essentially what all of that was about. It was all political. All of it was political. And the more the media and the Republicans attacked Bill Clinton, even through the Lewinsky thing and the impeachment and all that other crap, the more popular he was with the public. Now we're seeing this play out with Joe Biden. And they're playing the age card. They tried this shit also with Hillary back in 2016 when she hurt herself, and they tried to make it sound like her health was in decline and all this other bullshit. And they're doing the same thing with Joe Biden. And it's all because that Rosenthal, or whatever the hell his name is, with the New York Times, didn't get the interview he thought he was entitled to. And meanwhile, Trump gets a free pass. The public is increasingly in the dark, being kept in the dark about 2025, Project 2025, all the shit going on with the abortion deal, all of that, and all of Trump's 602 lies that I talked about in my last video in the 40 minutes that he was on. Very little said about that. He's getting a pass. He's getting a total pass. But after all, he was a media creation. Trump was a media creation to begin with, thanks to CNN and Jeff Zucker, who was a friend of Trump's going back to when they were at NBC, and Zucker was head of entertainment, I believe it was, and when Trump had his show The Apprentice. And so when his friend Trump ran this joke campaign, it was like a Pat Paulson campaign. He never thought he was going to actually get nominated, let alone elected. Old Zucker had his reporters do 24/7 blanket coverage of Trump and cut out all the other candidates. Cut them all out. It was the damnedest thing I ever saw in my life, how that was done. But they gave him blanket coverage. And that tells you how absolutely filthy and corrupt the media are. They're just totally. And the trouble is, Trump is so unstable and everything, and now we got a Supreme Court decision, and that's another reason why they're harping on Biden, is because they want to distract from that court decision Monday about presidential immunity. But this media better realize that if Trump gets in there and tries to implement Project 2025 and takes the Supreme Court decision to the ultimate degree, they're going to go to jail. And if they displease him, they could wind up executed or imprisoned. It's food for thought, folks. It's really food for thought. But I had to say this about the Biden thing. And they're going to keep doing it, and these jackasses in the Democratic Party are doing all they can, like Carville and allegedly Mark Warner and a few others, and they need to shut the fuck up, because they replace him now, they force him out now. I don't think it's going to happen. Dems are going to lose, and this country is going to be fucked forever, probably. Anyway, on that note, I'm done.